Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt, I am the American-Canadian Gamer, and let's talk about some of this playlist consolidation that 343's been doing in Halo 4 lately. Now, I've been really wanting them to consolidate their playlist for quite a while now. I really think that the playlists have been kind of a mess. They've really been segmenting things. It was really weird to have Regicide in its own playlist, and I was really happy when they rolled that into Rumble Pit. I'm really happy to actually see them doing this because I think when you have too many playlists, you really just pull your community apart. Like, think of it like stretching a rubber band. You're just kind of pulling it apart and pulling it apart. There's only so far you can go till it snaps. And I'm really glad to see them kind of let some slack back into it. Let things kind of come back. You know, they're kind of rolling the big team battle playlist, you know, the big team skirmish and the big team Infinity Slayer. They've rolled those together, and you know, like I said, they put Regicide and Rumble Pit. They're doing a lot of good things. I'm really happy to see them consolidating the playlists. And I think it's going to be really beneficial in the end once they get them all figured out. They said they're still doing a lot of testing. They're going to be doing some experimenting. But I think overall it's going to be more beneficial for the game in the long run. Although there is one thing I want them to do. I want them to take Lightning Flag out of Action Sack and put it in the CTF list. The CTF list gets plenty of people that love CTF, that just play in it all the time. But I think Lightning Flag does not fit in the Action Sack playlist because Action Sack games are really fast, really high action, and they're over quickly and you move on to the next one. But Lightning Flag just drags out. Even though it's Instagib, it just drags out forever and people leave it, nobody votes for it, nobody likes it there, because you go to Action Sack for things like Fiesta, that you just get random weapons, you blow everything up, and then you move on to the next match. I think Lightning Flag would fit much better in the Capture the Flag playlist. I think it would work much better there, and I'd like them to see them expand that playlist a little bit. Maybe have reverse Capture the Flag that's like Assault, where you have to take your flag to the enemy base and plant it there. I think there's just a lot of things they could do there. But let's move on to the more controversial subject of what they've been doing, and that's Infinity Slayer requiring, what is it, the Majestic map pack? And, you know, this kind of has its good and bad ends. It was kind of a confusing decision at first. I had to think about it a bit, but it does have its good and its bad points. Now, the good thing is that people who paid for that DLC will actually be able to play it on a regular basis, and Majestic was actually probably, in my opinion, the best of the map packs, because you had Monolith, you had Skyline, and what was the other one? I can't remember the other one off the top of my head, but it's another good one too. And you have those maps that they're actually really fun, and I think that it's kind of good that those people, myself included, are going to be able to play those maps on a regular basis. The downside of that is that it now prevents new players from joining that list, and it takes over the Infinity Slayer playlist, the small 4v4 list, which I think is really bad, because new players will either have to jump into Big Team Battle or something else, and my honest opinion on that is I don't like Big Team Battle as much as Infinity Slayer. I really prefer the more smaller squad-on-squad gameplay as opposed to the large teams with vehicles and that combined arms warfare. So I think that's actually kind of a bad decision in that end, because that's an important playlist. I think that's too important of a playlist to put a requirement like that on it, because it really just keeps new players from getting that, and people that didn't buy the map packs from probably playing their favorite list, and it almost feels like it's saying, hey, buy this map pack or else you can't play this, which I don't like. And in the end, I don't agree with the decision, but it's really not for any of the reasons I've previously stated. Really, the reason I don't agree with that decision is because I don't like map packs at all. I really do not like map packs in general. To me, all they do is take a community and segment it and worsen the online experience. Because unless a vast majority of players purchase the DLC, they won't help the community. The DLCs won't. And at the rate 343 pumped out the DLCs after Halo 4's release, it's been kind of difficult to convince people to purchase them all. I mean, you gotta think, they pumped out how many, Crimson, Majestic, I mean, how many DLCs did they come out with? Like, machine gun them out one after the other, just really quick. I mean, you look at something like Call of Duty, most people buy the map packs for that. But in Halo, they haven't been doing that, especially, like I said, at the rate 343's been pumping them out. And when you have a segment of that where only, say, for sake of argument, 50% of the players are buying the DLC, you're going to run into issues with the player communities getting segmented. You're going to have to, you know, specialize playlists for DLC like they've had. You end up having to throw requirements onto the playlist, like what we see now, Majestic being required for Infinity Slayer. Now, they probably did put Majestic on there because the most people that own the DLCs. Probably Majestic was the highest selling other than the Champions bundle. And I think that it's really just difficult to get people to buy those. And the only reason I purchased them was for YouTube. If I didn't have this YouTube channel, I would not have purchased any of the packs except for the Champions bundle. The Champions bundle, the only reason I purchased it was for weapon skins. Now, it's hard to argue against a map pack because the main reason to have them is to make money after release. Game development these days, especially for AAA titles, is very expensive, and you need ways to bring in extra money. That's why microtransactions and other things are becoming so much bigger. Some games do them better than others. Admittedly, like Dead Space 3 didn't do them very well, but some games do them very, very, very well. Like Call of Duty's actually done microtransactions in a very respectable way. You get weapon skins, you get the different sites, you get a lot of different things from that, which I think is a great way to do it. And I think Halo can do without map packs. I think Halo has that potential to not need map packs to make money after release. Instead, I would like to see them regularly update the playlist with free Forge maps, and they can be either developer or community made, and then they can make their money from microtransactions. Now, I know a lot of you really kind of don't like that idea at first because the word microtransaction kind of has a demonization to it, but Halo is blessed with a lot of great aesthetic and cosmetic components. You have armor, weapon skins, player stances, emblems, a lot of different things that can be sold in a store that really don't affect gameplay. No, not even really. They don't affect gameplay at all. If they implemented a store where you could buy stances, armor pieces, armor sets, weapons, skins, and emblems, I think they would make a fair chunk of change. I mean, imagine being able to buy a voice pack for your Spartan like you could in Firefight in Halo Reach. I mean, I think Halo could make a fair bit of money just from that, and because of Forge, the playlist could be regularly updated without segmenting the community because the Forge maps can be made by players or by developers. They can have Forge contests to update the playlists on a regular basis without overwhelming the community and without segmenting new players. And if you want proof that this style of system works, just look at Team Fortress 2. The hat economy makes Valve millions of dollars a year, and I'm not even exaggerating. It literally makes them millions. I'm not even like using hyperbole. It really does that. So I think Halo really could easily survive without any form of map packs. I think they could really just go off microtransactions in the Forge because they're the only, to my knowledge, console shooter that actually implements a map building system into the game. A map builder, which I think is really a great thing for the console FPS scene. And I'm surprised nobody else has actually done it up to this point. I think, didn't one of the Time Splitters have it? I think it was Time Splitters 2 had it. But other than that, nobody else really does it. So I think Halo could use the Forge and microtransactions to really set a new precedent of this is how you do multiplayer communities online. You don't segment anything, you keep everything consolidated, smooth, and what's the word I'm looking for? Intuitive. That's the word. You can keep everything intuitive, and I think it would work out much, much, much better. And there you go. That's kind of how I feel about all of this stuff that's going on. I just really don't like map packs. I'm really happy to see them consolidating playlists. I don't like that they've rolled a DLC into a playlist, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt, and I'll see you next time.